Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. MMB bets, how to wager Mavs versus Dubs. The Dallas Mavericks return Bayside to take on the Golden State Warriors after both teams fell short of a trip to Vegas for the NBA Cup. While the Warriors fumbled away their semi-final ticket in the final moments of their game against the Houston Rockets, the Mavericks were never really in it versus the Thunder. A glass-half-full perspective is okay with the loss. Yes, the pro-Thunder faction got louder, but there may be some benefit to all the front-running this early in the season. Dallas has always performed better as the team stalking in the standings rather than leading the way. Just ask Dirk about his MVP season. The Warriors just broke the seal on the NBA trade season by acquiring journeyman point guard Dennis Schroeder to replace De'Anthony Melton after a season-ending injury. While things on the court may change a bit for Golden State as they look for more off-the-ball minutes for Steph Curry, you have to wonder if adding a potential locker room tempest to a team that famously had fireworks in recent years may become an issue. For the second return game of Klay Thompson, let's scan the lines and find some value. I recommend staying away from the side in this one. The Mavericks are short road favorites based on their recent hot stretch and higher place in early season standings, yet it is important to remember Dallas lost here 120-117 as part of the string of 4 games lost by 1 possession. Throw in the layoff alongside quite a few absences for this, including Najee Marshall, and things get weird rather quickly. Instead, let's focus on some player props. Marshall's absence, combined with Thompson performing well in his first return game, are both factors towards the over on his point line. In 24 minutes off the bench in their November meeting, Lively was able to grab 12 points and 8 boards. Expect the minutes to be slightly higher in a starting role and around the same production, if not a bit better. Take star power and sentimentality out of it, and the Mavericks miss Washington when he is not in the lineup more than any other player based on results alone. He returns after a battle with the great locker room plague of late 2024 to feature prominently in the rebounding numbers of this contest. How the Sacramento Kings can emulate the Golden State Warriors. If you asked a random fan who they would rather be this season between the Golden State Warriors and Sacramento Kings, most people would quickly choose the Warriors. After all, they are 14-10 and 5th in the Western Conference, while the Kings are 13-13 and 12th in the standings. Still, even the Warriors have been struggling of late, going 4-7 in their last 11 after starting the season 10-3. A big reason for this is that after losing De'Anthony Melton for the entire season with a torn ACL, the Warriors have struggled in their non-Stephen Curry minutes. This is evident by the 2-time MVP touting an on-off plus-minus that ranks in the 95th percentile in the entire NBA, per Cleaning the Glass. So, to help remedy this issue, the Warriors traded Melton and some draft capital to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder had been having a strong season for the Nets, averaging 18.4 ppg and 6.6 apg on 59.2% true shooting, 63rd percentile. Schroeder will give the Warriors a competent creator they can lean on to keep the offense afloat, while also providing some defensive value in the minutes they play without Curry. The Warriors used a rebuilding team looking for draft assets in the Nets to help address a weakness on their team. The Kings would be wise to do that, too. As we've discussed on numerous occasions at a royal pain, the Kings need a two-way wing/forward that can give them size, shooting, and defense. As fate would have it, the Nets have 2 of those players, Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, who could reasonably be traded before the 2025 NBA trade deadline. The Kings need to package Kevin Huerter as a matching salary and some draft capital, whether that be a first-round pick or multiple seconds, and grab one of those 2 forwards. More than likely, neither of those additions would vault the Kings into title contention. However, at the very least, getting a bigger, more confident upgrade over Huerter, especially if they can get Johnson, will help the Kings be more competitive in the West. Who knows, maybe they'll even be better than the Warriors if they follow in their footsteps. NBA rumors: Warriors the only reported Jimmy Butler suitor with realistic trade path. Every season there are a few stars around the NBA that are right at the center of trade rumors throughout the season until they end up actually getting dealt. That person this year is Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler, who has been linked to several teams over the last few weeks, including the Golden State Warriors. Now, it turns out that the Warriors may have the best chance among all of the rest of the teams to actually swing a deal for Butler, according to Mark Stein of the Stein Line. League insiders continue to describe Golden State, as things currently stand, as the only team of the four most frequently mentioned as potential Butler suitors as having an interest in the 35-year-old that could eventually lead to some substantive trade talks, Stein wrote. Houston and Dallas have not registered tangible interest in a Butler trade pursuit, while the aforementioned Suns could realistically only construct a workable offer for Butler if the Heat were willing to take on Bradley Beal. Miami, remember, had no shortage of reservations about Beal in the 2023 offseason and abruptly abandoned its interest in trading for him then, partly put off by the no-trade clause in Beal's deal, but also the sheer salary numbers involved. The Warriors have been linked to Butler for a long time and even reached out to the Heat about him this summer before they sent Klay Thompson to the Dallas Mavericks, according to ClutchPoint's NBA insider Brett Siegel. Now, the Warriors have a chance to snag Butler and add him to the roster as they look to make a push in the Western Conference. This news comes on the heels of the Warriors adding point guard Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets for DeAnthony Melton and some second-round picks. Schroeder gives the Warriors another reliable ball handler outside of Stephen Curry and someone that can run the offense and create shots for himself and others while Curry is on the bench. The inclusion of Melton in that deal makes the Warriors' path to acquiring Butler a little bit tougher. Melton's expiring contract made him a very logical and admirable trade chip that an opposing team could take back in a deal without being on the books for next season and beyond, which is why the Nets took him back in the Schroeder deal. Regardless, the Warriors have the young pieces to entice the Heat to try and get a deal done over the next few months along with some draft picks. If the Warriors can get Butler to the Bay Area, they will finally have another secondary star next to Stephen Curry that would make them contenders in the Western Conference. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.